Axel Honneth's The Struggle for Recognition, original German title, Kampf um Anerkennung, 1992, is a seminal work in contemporary social and political theory, representing a major development within the Frankfurt School tradition of critical theory. Honneth seeks to reconceptualize social conflicts and the normative foundations of society by emphasizing the centrality of recognition as the basis for both individual self-realization and social justice. Unlike traditional Marxist or liberal frameworks that primarily focus on economic structures or formal legal rights, Honneth argues that social struggles are best understood through the lens of recognition, which forms the bedrock of personal identity, moral agency, and social solidarity. 1. Central thesis. Honneth's central thesis is that human beings require recognition from others to develop a sense of self and achieve social integration. Recognition is not merely an abstract moral ideal, but a tangible social experience that validates an individual's existence, capacities, and contributions. According to Honneth, social conflicts often arise from experiences of disrespect, neglect, or social invisibility, which undermine the individual's self-confidence and social standing. Consequently, struggles for recognition are both personal and collective. They manifest as social movements, legal reforms, and moral critiques aimed at securing respect, esteem, and equal rights. Honneth distinguishes between three fundamental forms of recognition, each corresponding to a different dimension of human life and a specific type of social conflict. 1. Love, care, and emotional recognition. This first form pertains to the affective domain of interpersonal relationships, particularly family bonds, friendships, and close emotional attachments. Love provides individuals with the fundamental self-confidence necessary to navigate the social world. When denied, as in cases of familial neglect or abuse, individuals experience profound insecurity and vulnerability, which can generate personal and social struggles. 2. Rights, legal recognition. The second form concerns the recognition of individuals as autonomous moral agents, entitled to participate in a system of rights. Legal recognition ensures that individuals are treated as equals under the law, granting them the capacity to make claims, exercise agency, and participate in social life. Denial of legal recognition through discrimination or denial of civil rights leads to social conflicts, reform movements, and advocacy for justice. 3. Solidarity, social esteem. The third form relates to the recognition of an individual's contributions to social life and the esteem accorded to their unique abilities, talents, and achievements. Solidarity involves communal valuation that affirms personal identity and social belonging. When societal institutions or cultural norms fail to esteem certain individuals or groups, feelings of disrespect and alienation emerge, prompting struggles for inclusion, equality, and cultural recognition. By structuring social recognition into these three dimensions, Honneth provides a comprehensive framework for understanding both micro-level interpersonal dynamics and macro-level social struggles. He contends that social movements, whether feminist, civil rights, labor, or LGBTQ+ movements, can be interpreted as collective endeavors to secure one or more forms of recognition. Recognition, therefore, is both an empirical phenomenon and a normative principle. 2. Theoretical context and influences. Honneth's work builds on and critically revises earlier theories of social conflict. Marxist theory, for example, identifies economic exploitation as the primary source of social struggle. Honneth accepts the Marxist insight that social relations shape human development, but argues that a purely economic lens is insufficient. Human suffering and conflict cannot be fully explained by material deprivation alone. Experiences of misrecognition are equally consequential for personal development and social cohesion. Additionally, Honneth draws upon Hegelian philosophy, especially Hegel's concept of recognition, Anerkennung, which posits that self-consciousness and social identity emerge through mutual recognition between individuals. In Hegel's phenomenology of spirit, the master-slave dialectic illustrates that recognition is not a given, but must be fought for, negotiated, and reciprocally affirmed. Honneth extends Hegel's insight into a modern sociological framework, linking recognition to empirical phenomena such as social movements, legal reforms, and cultural struggles. Honneth also engages with psychoanalytic theory, particularly the work of Freud and object relations theorists, to explain the developmental foundations of self-confidence, self-respect, and self-esteem. Emotional bonds in early life provide the effective resources necessary for later social participation, while experiences of neglect or abuse inhibit the development of agency. By integrating Hegelian philosophy, psychoanalytic insights, and critical theory, Honneth constructs a multidimensional account of recognition that bridges individual psychology, social theory, and normative ethics. Recognition and social conflict. A key innovation in Honneth's theory is the reconceptualization of social conflict. Rather than viewing conflict solely as a structural problem of class relations or as the result of scarce resources, Honneth emphasizes moral and interpersonal dimensions. Social struggles arise when individuals or groups are denied the recognition necessary for personal development and social participation. For instance, denial of emotional recognition within the family can lead to psychological distress and social marginalization. Denial of legal recognition, such as exclusion from political rights or civil liberties, generates political activism and demands for reform. Denial of social esteem, such as cultural discrimination or occupational undervaluation, motivates collective action to achieve social inclusion and equality. In this sense, Honneth reframes social conflict as a struggle for moral and social legitimacy. He argues that recognizing individuals as full participants in society is a precondition for social cohesion and justice. Conflicts over recognition are not incidental, but central to the dynamics of modern societies, shaping legal institutions, political movements, and cultural transformations. Harsha 4. The normative dimension. Honneth's theory is not purely descriptive, it carries a normative agenda. Recognition is not merely an empirical fact, but a moral requirement for a just society. Individuals have legitimate claims to recognition in all three spheres: love, rights, and solidarity. When these claims are denied, social institutions fail to meet the ethical standards of fairness and justice. By grounding social justice in recognition, Honneth provides a framework that integrates individual well-being, interpersonal relations, and institutional legitimacy. Social justice is thus not only about redistributing material resources, but also about fostering conditions in which individuals can achieve self-confidence, self-respect, and social esteem. The normative significance of recognition underscores its role as both a guiding principle for policy and a lens for analyzing social movements. 5. Implications for social theory and practice. Honneth's emphasis on recognition has broad implications for contemporary social theory, political philosophy, and public policy. 1. Social movements and identity politics. Honneth's framework illuminates the moral and social motivations behind identity-based movements. Feminist, LGBTQ+, and racial justice movements can be understood as collective struggles to secure recognition in the spheres of love, rights, and social esteem. Recognition theory provides a lens to analyze not only demands for equality, but also the emotional and moral stakes of these struggles. 2. Democratic theory. By emphasizing the importance of mutual recognition, Honneth's theory strengthens the normative foundations of democratic politics. Democracies are not merely procedural systems, they are arenas in which individuals must be recognized as equals and legitimate participants. Policies that exclude or demean groups undermine democratic legitimacy. 3. Critical theory and ethics. Honneth revitalizes the Frankfurt School's normative project by linking empirical observations of social struggle with ethical principles. Unlike some postmodern critiques that relativize moral claims, recognition theory asserts that there are objective standards for evaluating social practices based on whether they respect the dignity and identity of individuals. 4. Social policy. In practical terms, recognition theory suggests that social policy should focus not only on material redistribution, but also on fostering conditions of inclusion, respect, and esteem. Education, legal reform, and cultural programs become mechanisms for securing recognition and promoting social cohesion. 6. Critiques and limitations. While Honneth's work has been highly influential, it has also attracted critique. Some scholars argue that his framework may overemphasize moral and emotional dimensions at the expense of structural and material inequalities. Others question whether the threefold division of recognition can capture the complexity of social hierarchies, intersectional identities, and systemic oppression. Additionally, critics have noted potential difficulties in operationalizing recognition as a standard for legal or policy interventions, given its inherently subjective and context-dependent nature. Despite these critiques, Honneth's theory has inspired extensive research across sociology, philosophy, political science, and psychology. His framework provides a rich conceptual vocabulary for analyzing social struggles, understanding human development, and articulating normative principles of justice. Conclusion. Axel Honneth's The Struggle for Recognition offers a groundbreaking reconceptualization of social conflict, identity, and justice. By situating recognition at the heart of human development and social theory, Honneth provides a unified account of why social struggles arise and how they can be ethically evaluated. His distinction among emotional recognition, legal recognition, and social esteem allows for a nuanced understanding of both personal and collective dimensions of human life. Honneth's work shifts the focus from material redistribution and formal legal rights to the deeper moral and relational foundations of society. Recognition is simultaneously a psychological necessity, a social practice, and a normative demand. Social justice, according to Honneth, is achieved not only when people have access to resources or formal rights, but also when their dignity, abilities, and contributions are fully acknowledged. In the broader context of critical theory, the struggle for recognition represents a pivotal effort to reconcile empirical sociology with normative ethics, emphasizing the interplay between individual agency, interpersonal relations, and institutional legitimacy. Its influence extends beyond academia, informing debates on multiculturalism, democratic participation, and the politics of identity in contemporary societies. By framing social conflicts as struggles for recognition, Honneth provides a conceptual toolkit for understanding the moral, social, and political dimensions of human life, offering insights that remain profoundly relevant in an era characterized by both globalization and social fragmentation.